Hello and welcome to this best of 1 2v2. That's right, no 1v1 here. And who do we have? Well, you're probably wondering if my mouse would stop freaking out. I would be able to tell you we have it's a clan match. It's a team match. You wouldn't believe it. 2v2 is a team game. No, it's a clan match between the Empire, who is Alias, and we've got Looney down here as the purple, and AngleBeats as the yellow Empire. And then as the orange allies, and actually this is the allied team, so it's Empires versus Allies, you know, Japanese versus the Yanks. And as the orange, we do have Ned. So, oh, and this is Clan H2O, forgot to mention that. So we've got Ned as the orange, and as the cyan allies, we have GoDoFWaR. So, what do we got here? We got javelins out of GoDoFWaR. We've got javelins out of... I forgot their names already. There we go, out of Ned. So, and what else do we have? We have a Dojo Core out of AngleBeats running around, and of course, Imperial Warriors. This is going to be an absolutely crazy game. So both of our Alias players, Looney and AngleBeats. AngleBeats is was able to sell that off. I was gonna say the Imperial Dojo will go down, but Looney, on the other hand, might be able to get his engineer out, might be able to capture that oil derrick. It depends on if Ned's infantry, or even if GoDoFWaR's infantry, can get over there and end this quick enough, which, no, there's the engineer going to sell that off, I imagine. No, it looks like Looney is going to be producing a few more units. What is AngleBeats doing? Well, look at this. We got infantry battles all over the place happening up here. We've got, I almost said high ground advantage, but no one has high ground advantage, kind of, yet. I mean, these guys have swords, so that doesn't really work. Anyways, we do have oil derrick captured by GoDoFWaR and oil derrick captured by Looney. And actually, very good move from Looney. I said to sell that off, but I was wrong, because he can use that to pump out infantry, reinforce his ally. And what do we have down here? A burst drone getting taken out. And it does look like GoDoFWaR did sell that wall segment, which allows his prospector to escape if need be. And it looks like AngleBeats' infantry spam is going to be able to take this a little bit. I don't want to say take the game, that's not what I meant. I meant take this battle into Ned's base. And we do have Ned. He's got a barracks, and it's looking very vulnerable. Although if this dog is micro perfectly, no, it gets taken out by AngleBeats. So good micro by AngleBeats. We do have more infantry wars, and this is a 2v2 with no vehicles so far, although we do have those airfields out of both allied players. And what is our Empire players going on? They're going for Mecha Bait. AngleBeats is selling off those dual Dojo cores, and it does look like Looney already has his Mecha Bay completed now, and we do have these massive balls of infantry running around the map. As you can see on the minimap, they did look like large, you know, yellow and cyan balls of infantry. And let's keep this clean here. Anyways, we've got more infantry wars. Yeah. And we do have, important to note, oil derricks. That additional income is always important, but you know what's more important than that? A full-on expansion, and bringing your MCB kind of to the front lines can be a risk. But we also have a power plant going down in the back, which could be very vulnerable if either of the Empire players go for air units. God, not air units, sea units. We do have air units, Vindicator specifically, doing some splash damage to that ore refinery. How can I get this much stuff wrong? And we do have Looney grabbing 3 of those oil derricks, and it looks like AngleBeats is probably going to be going for the 4th. That will give them a slight econ advantage, but you know what would give the allied H2O team a bigger advantage is full-on expansions, which they do have one here for GoDoFWaR, and it looks like Ned is looking to secure his own. And despite the fact that there are, you know, Empire players have yet to take a single expansion. But we can only assume that that's what they will be doing. We do have an Apollo getting some scouting information. That Apollo, Ned, and I'm assuming GoDoFWaR saw it as well, but they saw probably those jet tangoos. They're like, hey, we got jet tangoos. Our Apollos could get overwhelmed pretty quickly. And if you did not see it before, we do have 5 jet tangoos going to be not able to take out that Apollo. Good micro from GoDoFWaR, able to take down, although neither player lost any units, I was going to say able to take down one of the jet tangoos, but they did escape. but we do have Apollos kind of trading off, but we also have Jet Tengus here trading off, so who will be able to do the most damage? That is the real question we need to have. We've had good micro out of both players, retreating when need to, and also transforming those Jet Tengus to get them out of the line of fire. That's very good from both players, and we saw, I thought someone was going to lose a unit, but we only lost one Jet Tengu, which was quite surprising considering that we had, you know, like 10 units involved in that battle there, and this Mecha Tengu is possibly going to be able to get the kill. No, as I say that, the Vindicators show up and clean it up. When I was going to say that, because to escape the Prospector, GoDoFWaR would have had to sell off some wall segments, but then we've got these infantry here, and of course the Vindicators were the perfect choice for that, and this expansion is now up and running, and we do have an MCV on the move, possibly communicating with GoDoFWaR and saying, hey, why don't you build a base defense, and then I'll roll my MCV over here, and we can do kind of a base defense push. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but we do have a Riptide here, going to be taking out these infantry. Unless they focus it down, should be no problem. But it does look like Ned is building possibly a barracks and a base defense. Does he have? No, he does not have that tech quite yet for that Prism Tower, as a Prism Tower would be so good right here. And it does look like that War Factory will not go down. It does look like two Riptides are going to be able to clean up these infantry, no problem. Infantry don't need to be attacking the Riptides because they're getting insta-healed, basically. But if this War Factory goes down, that will be a big mistake out of GoDoFWaR. We have Jet Tengus taking down Ned's MCV. He only got one multi-gunner turret, and does he try and fold this up to see if he can, you know, escape? Because he can't really run over the Jet Tengus on water. And that would be kind of weird on the physics engine if that didn't work. But we do have Ned's, well, Ned is rescuing himself from these Jet Tengus. It does look like two of them are going to go down. Those Apollos are completely worthless. The Prospector did go down, putting Ned at a slight disadvantage, although that is basically putting him on an equal footing with AngleBeats. I almost said Team Alias, but do note that Looney does have that expansion there and has yet to take one of these, which those can be, you know, hotly contested. But we do have a Prospector out of GoDoFWaR, half damaged. Looks like he's going to be setting up an expansion here, and I am not 100% positive, but and GoDoFWaR actually throwing down two base defenses there to assist with this push that's going on, and the Jet Tengus were not able to take it down so far. The MCV take down the MCV so far, but it's kind of interesting to note that those Vindicators are doing splash damage to the MCV while trying to take out the Jet Tengus. So if the Team Alias, if Looney, I believe it was, who had his Jet Tengus there, purposefully placed them that close so that they would do the splash damage, good on him. The MCV does get packed up, and actually powering down those base defenses probably a big mistake there, because, you know, if they're going to be powered down, you might as well just sell them off, although we do have a freezing of a couple of Jet Tengus and some Tsunami Tanks. Going to want to take out that Tsunami Tank probably, unless you're pumping out more infantry, as the Tsunami Tank is going to do the most damage to those buildings and eliminate them the quickest, and also eliminate the MCV the quickest, which it does go down. And now what are we going to see out of Ned to deal with this small army that he can't do much against with his airfield like it is, although he is taking off Vindicators and bombing them, although we do have a it is a ranked up Tsunami Tank, a veteran Tsunami Tank, going to be able to do a fair amount of damage and also probably be able to survive a couple of bomb drops on him. But we do have Looney being able to clean up the base, although not entirely. I'm missing stuff all over the map. There's all sorts of exciting things happening. We do have a small push out of GoDoFWaR, but it does look like, yes, Looney's turret did get taken out there, but not before killing the ore collector and also doing a fair amount of damage to the ore refinery. And now AngleBeats is forced to remake that, and that's just a repair drone. But we do have a slight push, followed up by air support and a reinforcing Guardian tank out of GoDoFWaR. It looks like he's going to be pushing into Looney's base. Looney, who has still some units over here getting healed up, and also more Tsunami tanks on the way. As you can see, Looney's army is just being split up, and this Striker VX may be just what is needed, as there isn't a whole lot of anti-air except for these two Apollos, which are just now showing up, so that Chopper VX was able to get off a couple of shots there, and the Tsunami tank isn't doing a whole lot as it is in that adaptive, I'm going to say adaptive armor, but no, That's a different game. It's a nano thingy that boosts armor, but the main gun doesn't really work. And so we have these tsunami tanks coming back in, and it does look like AngleBeats is going to be coming to the rescue of Looney, as Looney came to AngleBeats' rescue earlier on, although not necessarily, because AngleBeats might have been able to clean it up just fine, and the Alias team might be able to clean up this attack, but it is getting reinforced by Ned. He's got his aircraft here standing guard and also doing some damage to that war factory and also the units. But we do have a Striker VX out of Looney going to be able to clean up those skies for now. And Team Alias still holding the center of the map, but they're also not doing well. Actually, they're almost equal on expansions because, you know, Looney has these 3, and as of yet AngleBeats hasn't taken a 3rd, which this is pretty strange, although, to be fair, all of these players have been putting a lot of money into resources and not necessarily as much into expanding as much as they would like. I'm sure AngleBeats was thinking, you know, I need to expand at some point and get up that 3rd and a 4th base at some point. But we do have now a misplaced ore refinery out of GoDoFWaR. Very unusual, you do not see that very much, and this armor facility is almost back up to full health. And we do have bombing runs going down on those oil derricks that will kind of help to, you know, even out the 2 players, as far as, even though the H2O team does have far more expansions, and I say far more even though they're only 2 ahead. And that could easily be remedied, and we do have GoDoFWaR now sitting on 5 ore nodes, and as you can see, these still have a fair amount of ore left in them, and 2 of the 4 oil derricks do go down from those bombing runs and also those guardian tanks. So a little bit of econ gone from Team Alias, but Team Alias, if they can take out this construction yard, that will be 2 con yards down, which is quite a bit of money to remake, and also that build queue gone. And also, you know what else is gone? Whoa, I didn't even realize this. I didn't even think about it. But yeah, Ned never built that war factor, and I'm sure some of you noticed that far before me. And like, what are you doing not mentioning Ned? But yeah, I didn't think about that. Ned didn't even have an armor facility, so he can't remake that MCV, which means no more expansion and also no more base defenses, which was kind of the whole idea of that push earlier. He is setting up a command hub so that GoDoFWaR can play some more base defenses. So you know what they say, if you fail, try again. Not always the best choice in Command & Conquer, but it might work right now, considering this army is split up across the map, and Looney doesn't have a whole lot of, you know, units to send over here, and just now AngleBeats with those 2 Striker VXs. Which are they going to spot this? Let's go into the vision really quick to see if... Oh, I'm sure, yeah, Team Alias, yeah, they can see that. They can see that Prospector unpacked there. They know that that is there, and that there is a possibility for base defenses, although I do not know if Prospectors give your ally build radius, because if they don't, that's kind of a wasted Prospector. And we do have all 3, I believe, of these, yes, all 3 of Ned's ore nodes are going, which is kind of important. It's not as important for Ned because he only has that 1 airbase. So, I mean, it's not like he's going to be putting a huge amount of money into units other than cryocopters, because he can only have 4 other aircraft. And he also won't ever be getting sentry bombers, so I would say Team Alias is looking to be in good position, but not if they lose a mecha bay or a couple more expansions, because GoDoFWaR has been powering these expansions fairly well, and also powering an army fairly well this whole game. He has had a couple of significant armies during this game. And Ned, he's got his Vindicators. I know I saw 3 Vindicators earlier. We've got Vindicators out of Ned, and then he's just, all he can build is cryocopters, so his money might be going to waste. And before I say that for sure, there we go, Ned. He's staying on top of that production. He did lose a number of aircraft there, so he's rebuilding those, and now it looks like we have them converging in the bottom right side in Looney's base. Looney going for a lot of infantry and some Tengus, following it up with those tsunami tanks. Not really following it up, but we do have mostly Imperial Warriors, which is a curious choice considering the heavy armor composition. Although those Imperial Warriors do a fair amount of damage. They do a surprising amount of damage versus tanks or war factories, as we saw them almost take out that armor facility earlier in the game. And one of these teams needs to engage, and I would say it's probably going to be the Alias team, as they need to engage here and see if they can beat back this army instead of letting the army just pick them off, as they are kind of at a disadvantage. And why do I say that? Well, mainly because of God of War's economy. I mean, Looney is the closest thing to it, and he's got, you know, 3 ore nodes and 2 oil derricks, while God of War is sitting on 5 ore nodes, although more like 4.5, because this one on the left side, that second one on the left side, is not doing a whole lot, as he did get the bad placement there. But we do have shrinkage going on, very annoying to deal with there, and also freezing from the cryocopters, not necessarily going to be hugely effective in this game. And that Jet Tengu does go down, and the Striker VXs do transform, and I do move that window a little bit, so that messed that up. Striker VX is going to be able to take down the IFVs, and also going to be able to take down not a whole lot else, as I made a little bit of a mistake there, and I thought the Tsunami tanks were on the other team, as I forgot this was Allies versus Empire. And what do we have out of God of War, because the reinforcements are going to be really important, but leaving this barracks here alive, God of War not killing that, could lead to, you know, some reinforcements of loonies heading in the back and taking some stuff out. These cryocopters are going to be going down unless Ned gets them out of there. Although God of War is pushing into Looney's base a little bit further, and AngleBeats heading in with the reinforcements, kind of, you know, 3 Tsunami tanks. It's not exactly a saving force, but when God of War has only got this much stuff left, these many units left, and that barracks does get sold off for a single Imperial Warrior, which still can do a fair amount of damage if gone unchecked, which, no, God of War does see that, and it will be getting taken out and frozen almost immediately. This many Striker VXs is kind of an overstatement, or a overreaction, not an overstatement, but as they're not going to be doing a whole lot for the majority of the battle, it can easily be crushed by these infantry. But they are very important in taking out those aircraft, especially those cryocopters, which are being so annoying in God of War with this basically just streaming army. He's got infantry, he's got vehicles streaming all over, and this may be it for Alias Looney unless he can somehow whip this into shape and take out the Destructo button. Where am I going with this? He needs to clean up this army, and with a little help from AngleBeats, we got 4 Tsunami tanks and a Chopper VX. This may be what is perfect to clean this up, combined with Looney's Chopper VXs transforming and taking some of that damage, and also eliminating some of those tanks so that the Tsunami tanks are free to run over just the infantry and don't have to worry about the bad pathing with those tanks. This could be what Team Alias needs, but it doesn't. But what they don't need is Striker VXs walking all over the place, doing crazy things, and all of those Javelins did get taken out, swinging the favor back into Team Alias. I thought Looney was going to get pushed out of this game by the constant stream of units from God of War, but it looks like they may be able to push God of War out, although he is constantly reinforcing, although not all of his units are engaging, which is very important. God of War gets cleaned up there, as well as Ned, but what is Ned doing? He's up in the top right side, freezing buildings and taking stuff out. You know why? Because AngleBeats doesn't have any anti-air right now, so we do have Striker VXs trying to fly over, but are they going to get there in time? They should get there before the MCV gets frozen. Will they be able to get under these units and transform in time? MCV does pack up, messing up the attack of those cryocopters a little bit, forcing them to stop. And now, just long enough for those Striker VXs to show up and chase everything away. And now another oil derrick is going down, and most likely this one will go down at some point in the near future. No, God of War does back out. He doesn't want to have to deal with those buildings, I guess. Which, you know, good move from him. He doesn't need to be wasting time taking out a couple of infantry units in buildings when he could be taking out bases like a Mecha Bay, as the one up here already went down, and now it has to be remade by Angel War, and another Mecha Bay does go down. This is, you know, a fair amount of money, but also, more importantly, they can't produce tanks until they get more Mecha Bays up and running, which will take time. So it's not just the resources, it's the resource of time. And when you've got someone like God of War with his economy pumping out constant units from production facilities, and then you get set back 20 or 30 seconds without ever producing a unit in that time, it could spell disaster. And now we do have Mirage tanks. We have got that tier 3 out of God of War, and it looks like running over those infantry is the right move for the Team Alias, as both of them were, you know, trying to run over some infantry. But they need to keep it up, and they need to do something with these tanks and not just let this one get taken out, although Looney is doing a pretty good job of keeping that alive and kind of microing it around to run over all of those units. We do have the Mecha Bay finishing up for Looney and AngleBeats. If you missed it, it has been up for a little while. We do have a fair-sized Air Force, although... Where's the barracks? Where's the barracks? At what point... he just apparently had a small cache of infantry. Sold off some buildings or something like that. Ned did. I'm talking about Ned because I saw that small group of infantry and I was like, wait a second, did he have a barracks hidden somewhere that I absolutely missed? One Mecha Tengu does get frozen and they pull out. Why? Because of Chopper VX is very good versus that only Air Force. That force consisting only of air units. Although these 5 Peacekeepers could be devastating with partnered with those cryocopters, and now we do have, is he going to be able to get the tier 2 upgrade, or tier 3 upgrade out? And we do have it, yeah, that was it. I just wanted to make sure that Alias Looney, he now has that, no, he doesn't. He has the tier 1, tier 2 upgrade. Now I'm messing everything up. I can't even get my tiers straight. And no, I don't mean crying tears either. For those of you who were wondering, and we do have 4 Mirage tanks supported by a fair amount of infantry. This could be the perfect combination, although you know what's pretty good versus Mirage tanks and infantry? MCVs and also water, if he wants to expand on the water or run away to the water, which he can do. And if these Mirage tanks are focusing down the armor, the war factory, they could get run over, but no, God of War paying a little bit too much attention, and these cryocopters may be able to freeze up the MCV. No, they're going to have to pull back away from those Jet Tengus, while the Jet Tengus do get taken out by a combination of just infantry. I thought that there were some... There's the Apollo that I was thinking of. With the Apollo is here going to be able to clean up those Jet Tengus, no problem, and now the cryocopters are going to be able to... The MCV went down at some point when I was talking about the other infantry or other aircraft, and we do have the Mirage tanks possibly going to be walking into their doom, or driving into their doom, as is a little more accurate. We do have this Mirage tank in the back, but no, Looney is kind of paying attention there, able to take down that Mirage tank. I thought maybe he was going to be able to come from behind and do some damage, and now the Team H2O is looking to be in really great shape by eliminating Looney and AngleBeats. Looney actually left the game before AngleBeats, but GG to both teams and all 4 of our players, God of War, Ned, Looney, and AngleBeats. That was actually a pretty good 2v2. I was kind of worried that it was, you know, because I've seen some bad 2v2s in my day. Of course, they were all 2v2s that I played, but that's beside the point, as the real point was, good job to God of War and to Ned, both very good players. And, well, you know, that's, yeah. So anyways, good game to everyone around. Looney, AngleBeats, both did a very good job, and I thought that they were going to take that game for part of it, but as the resource graph shows, God of War, actually, I'm surprised that Looney was ahead in resources for that long of that beginning chunk of the game, but he was able to take that 3rd base, and then God of War just passed him up slowly but surely, and AngleBeats never did get that 3rd expansion up, which is just, you know, may have spelled disaster. But also God of War doing very good with the micro. Well, you know how it is. Anyways, this is Sybert signing out.